In this video, I'm going to be breaking down the 3 different routes a Forex trader can go down. I'm also going to break down GU for this week. If you don't know me already, my name's Rob Dono. I'm an $800,000 funded trader, trading with prop firms such as FTMO and unfortunately my Forex funds. So today I am going to be going through prop trading as one of the 3 trading routes you can go down. The 2 others aren't spoken about quite as much as prop firm trading, even though they are equally good options, if not better, if you're in the correct situation. So the first route you can go down that I'm going to explain is personal trading. Throughout this video, I'm going to be breaking down the pros and cons of each route. So let's start with the pros of personal trading. The first point is that you actually manage your own money. You have no extra pressure knowing it's someone else's money. You've got complete control of the amount that's in there. And if you're putting in the right amount, that puts off even less pressure. The second pro is that you've got no rules. You can do exactly what you want on these personal accounts. Unlike prop firm trading, there's no daily drawdowns, there's no max drawdowns, there's no rules around news trading. There's no hidden rules that these new prop firms keep introducing, such as martingale rules, or equity drawdowns, or drawdown trails. On a personal account, you're in complete control, making your own decisions. Another pro is that you've got nothing stacked against you other than spreads and commissions from your broker. Unlike when trading on a prop firm, you haven't got specific rules out to get you. A kind of half pro with personal accounts is that they are scalable, but I look at them more as a compound interesting account. Obviously, the more money you've got in a personal account, the more money you can gain. And that's why prop firms are still very lucrative, because they give traders a lot of capital to potentially trade with. Unlike the other 2 options, with trading on the personal account, you can withdraw your profits at any time. Now, here are some of the cons. Trading on a personal account can be extremely hard if you don't have a lot of capital putting into it in the first place. I've seen so many traders put 500 quid, 250 quid, 2 grand even, into a personal account, and they've not been satisfied with the amount they're making through that personal account, so they always over risk or over trade to make more capital than they should be. So that moves me on to my next point, where it can be hard to manage risk with your own capital. If, let's say, you only had £100 to put into an account and you wanted to risk 1% per trade, which is quite normal in trading, then you'd have to be willing to only risk £1 every single trade, which means realistically your wins are probably going to be from £2 to £5 each, which doesn't really seem that exciting. This therefore leads to a lot of overtrading and over-risking like I went through before. Just building on this con, the psychology of a trader is massively affected by this, as they may be able to trade big accounts but not small accounts, which might mean that things like a prop firm or the other option that I'm going to go through may be a better route to go down. Okay, so next I'm going to go through prop firms. Now, me personally, I've had a great experience trading prop firms, really until the last couple weeks. Obviously, with my Forex funds being frozen, it's meant I've ultimately got $500,000 in capital that I can't access and a $10,000 payout as well. But to be fair, they have given me a great opportunity and I've been paid out from prop firms like them and FTMO as well. If you don't know what a prop firm is, ultimately it's a private equity firm that funds undercapitalized traders. The reason I say funds like that is because they're not actually ever funding you with live capital. You're always demo trading and they're just paying you out with failed challenge profits. Me personally, I don't really see an issue with this. As a good trader, you are still getting paid. However, the issue is that they add things like slippage, spread, and commissions even when they're on a demo account. So they're literally adding these things onto the account just to make it harsher for the trader. Not only that, but they actually do want the traders to lose because they don't profit from a good trader. And the success rate is around 0.28% to actually get a payout. I've done this one in a bit of a reverse, so I've gone through the cons first. Now to go through the pros. The biggest pro is that you get access to a lot more capital than you would have putting the deposit in. So let's say you had £500. With that on a personal account, you can make little to no money, unless you're over risking, over trading, etc. However, with a funded account, that could get you $100,000 in funded capital, which you could then easily start making £1,000 or multiple £1,000s each month. That is genuinely probably the only pro, but it is such a big pro. Actually, I would say there's one more. They do offer scaling plans and you can get a lot of capital. So you can go from literally having no capital to getting 100K funded to moving all the way to max funding with millions of funded capital. But again, it's extremely hard. So if you are going for prop firm challenges, make sure you're learning from the correct people. You don't want to join that 99.72%. Now, the last final route I'm going to talk about is private investment. So as a trader, there is ways to create funds and trade under other people's capital. This does mean you're probably going to have to do it under an FCA regulated firm, but holding records of your trading or proof that you can trade the way that you can say you can trade will probably provide interest from investors. So when you get to this stage, there can be massive opportunities to trade with private investment. For me, whenever it gets to this stage, this is the best option. There's little to no rules as long as there's nothing in a contract, etc. You can trade your strategy as you would on a personal or on a funded and see consistent gains and growth with a large amount of capital, obviously depending on the amount that's in the fund. If you want to learn more about any of the three routes, drop me a message on my Instagram at RobDono. Okay, so now I'm going to move on to a quick GU analysis for you lot, now that I've gone through the three different routes you can go down as a trader. Okay, so I'm going to do a very, very quick breakdown of GU and what's happened this week. Ultimately, we've seen a very bearish week, which is what I was massively saying to the Discord last Sunday and the Sunday before, actually, that I'm expecting GU to continue to fall downwards. I very rarely kind of give a complete bias, but I was very bearish kind of coming towards these next 2 weeks, well, these last 2 weeks. So ultimately, all we've seen is a nice change of character here to the downside. So obviously when looking at the structure, you've got this coming up, pullback, then a break of structure, and then from here, we've seen a change of character, a pullback to here, so this is a very relevant high, and then a continuation downwards. Now, at the moment, it looks like we're reacting to this kind of area here, which clearly does have an area of buyers, as we saw a nice little fair value gap causing a break of structure on previous days. So that is a relevant area. I did actually take a long today, which is kind of counter trend, but is ultimately based off the strategy I trade, and I'll go through that in another video. I think we'll be doing a day in the life for today, but this is for a different video where I'm actually breaking down just general analysis. So it did react off of this area now. However, I am still probably bearish looking towards this area, the complete swing low. Obviously, this is very much in the discounted. So we might be getting a clear reaction until I see a nice take out of this high, this being the relevant high because it's the last high that caused a break of structure, this being the break of structure. Then I won't be looking for very long-term longs. So within this swing, you've got this relevant area here. In terms of where it's at in the Fibonacci retracement, you've got from here to here. It's just about coming into the equilibrium, so the premium price for another short. However, there is obviously this area up here as well. So for me, I wouldn't be surprised if this gets manipulated and we do see a movement up hitting this area before we see a continuation down, or we could react off of this either kind of supply we could see a reaction off. However, I would be personally looking for a nice change of character before I think of taking any shorts. So something like this maybe, to then continue towards this low and target this point of interest, which is ultimately the initial low that caused that change of character to the upside. Okay, so again, very quick analysis. I know there's a lot of stuff on my chart already. Obviously, we haven't had these point of interest outlined, and we haven't had this liquidity swept, but if you watched my last analysis, I don't know if I uploaded it on YouTube, can't really remember, but I did outline this point of interest as well. And if it's going to continue with the bearish trend, continue with the direction, then this is the first order block to react off of, which it did this week. So it came into this area here, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, then continued downwards. Monday kind of opened and it continued. Monday was the highest point in a bearish week, which you do see often. So the way to think of it is, I would probably say 60-70% of the time, Monday will be the lowest or highest point of the opposite direction of a trend. So that's kind of what we've seen today. This week. I'm trying to think of last week. Kind of, not really. Yeah, actually, yeah. The lowest point of a kind of bullish week. So kind of. But yeah, that's ultimately what I've been noticing a lot more recently, and what a few people actually in the Discord who I've been teaching for the last year point out to me. So that's obviously always cool to hear. But yeah, that's my kind of breakdown of the charts of GU for this next week coming up. Okay. I hope this helps. Make sure to subscribe and I'll see you in the next video.